When did you know that your bench press competitive career was fading? Or did you never know?
It didn't fade.
Yes.
I was still getting stronger when I...
So what was the reason?
what
What
was-
was the...
No, I was still getting stronger. Didn't have to quit. I had looked for a reward of how I felt about things, how I felt about myself each time I did something. And I came to the point where I had squeezed all of it out. It had given me all it was going to give me. I could keep doing it, but I wouldn't keep getting more reward. That's all the reward I'm going to get from powerlifting. I got about everything that I could get out of it, of anybody could get out of it. And you can keep doing it, but there's no more coming back. So now you're going to put out and make all these sacrifices at a high level, very high sacrifice to get 5 more pounds, and you're not going to get any more satisfaction for yourself. This is all the satisfaction you're ever going to get. It's over. In the satisfaction, you can keep doing it, and people do. You know, we're from Columbus. We got lots of people that were 10, 12-time world champion, beating their own records. I don't know that they ever got any more out of it, but that's all they do, so they just kept doing it.
Well, there's others that keep doing it with the risk still at the high level, and they're doing it at a lower and lower level.
Yeah.
Where the risk as they get older keeps going up and up and up.
I could have probably set quite a few records in different weight classes at the age group thing as I got older, right? But those records, I would get more records, but those records would be lower than I used to lift. What's that going to feel like? I lift less than I used to lift, but I get a new record. That's not going to satisfy me. That's not getting any more. That's doing more, and it's keeping doing it, but not getting any more reward.
Yeah.
So I think I had used up the potential for personal development and growth and reward, personal fulfillment.
How did you know? I mean, when I'm asking for the people out there that are on that cusp right now. For me, physically, I wasn't going to be able to hold a squat bar, but I'm not going to say that's why. The other reason why was the same as what you just said. I got to a point where it's like, you know what? It's not worth it to me anymore at this level.
Right. That's it. Dave, it's a diminishing returns.
Yes.
I could have kept doing it. I could have kept paying more and more and more. And as I was getting to the place where I did stop, I was getting less and less and less back. But had to do more and more and more to get less and less. And so I could see that was just going to continue until I was going to get nothing out of it. Right?
Yes.
I didn't take it to the place. I could have got a little tiny bit more, but it wouldn't have been worth it. For me to get a little bit more reward, a tiny bit, compared to what I had been getting all along. And it's just started to diminish, the law of diminishing returns. You do more and more for less and less. And at some point, you have to do an astronomical amount for next to nothing. And it's not worth it.
But there's still a decision process. You know, I had to make it, you had to make it. You know, it's it's
well, so it's a very simple scale. Here's how much I put in to get this. But now I'm gonna have to put in more and get less. And I'm gonna have to put even more in and get even less. And you can see where that's going. You can see it happening. It was happening to me.
Yes.
I took a year to get from 7 to 710.
Well, I think to back it up though, it's before that level, you'd put in more, you got more. You put in more, you got more.
Yeah.
Then you put in, then it starts to be good. You put in more, then you get the same, right?
Yeah.
Then you put in more, you get a little less. Then you put in more, you get a little less
than that,
right? And for me, it's like, okay,
that's it.
As yourself, I don't see this master thing. It's I don't want to do that. I saw others that just kept going and going. That's their choice.
It's impressive to be older and still be able to do that.
Yeah.
I laud those guys, but I wouldn't get anything out of it myself.
So the advice would be, you got to look at that, what you put into what you get out.
You can see it coming a mile away.
I think we all do.
The law of diminishing returns starts way back here. I call it like a rooftop. There's a peak on the roof. And like you said at the beginning, you do more, you get more. You do more, you get more. You do more. But then you step across the top of that roof and you do more and you get less. You do more and you get less. You do more and you get less.
Yeah,
And
but
you
that can
know
be
when you're-
deceiving though, right?
It could be, sure.
Because there's been other rooftops that I hit that you
Sure.
start to go down, but then you find there's a whole nother rooftop.
I agree.
You know, so you got to be convinced
Yeah, I
that
agree.
there's not another rooftop, or you don't care if there's
No.
another rooftop.
I think that you choose. Ultimately, you choose to stop. It's a choice.
Yeah.
You could keep going. And for all the right and wrong reasons that we just talked about, and you could weigh it out, and you could look at the law of diminishing returns, you could do all that. But ultimately, you say to yourself, I choose to be done. Now, some people don't. Some people get hurt or they become incapacitated and they can't. If I had kept going, I wouldn't be able to do it now. That's for sure. I can barely, walk across the room, right?
Yeah. With either though, I mean, with the people that have to leave because of injury or the ones that choose to leave, it's still closing a big chapter, a big ass chapter, like a 20-year, 30-year chapter.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Not well.
Okay.
At first.
Mm-hmm.
Not well at first. But then I got this lesson of arthritis where at first it was a choice not to do that. And then it became, I can't do that anymore. And I felt betrayed by my body. I felt like it wasn't living up to the bargain, because before I had this history of data that I had procured that had the conclusion of all the data was that I was indestructible. I would treat my body harder and harder and harsher, and I would get stronger and stronger and stronger. So this data, 10 years of data, that if you treat your body harder, you're only going to get stronger. I could prove it. I could show you all the data that I'd accrued that proved that the harder I treat my body, tougher I get. And then that's until it wasn't. I knew that I wasn't indestructible, but I had a pretty good history that I was pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
And to see it all start to go away, it was very. It was undercutting for me. I got the rug pulled out dramatically, figuratively. It really got ripped out from underneath me. I got 2 replaced hips, 1 replaced knee, a tore a quad, and I have arthritis that makes it very hard to move and hold things. And I can't get change from you because I have to turn my whole body to get the hand.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could say I did it quickly, because I tried to, but I just couldn't get over being angry with myself for not being able to do things the way I used to do them, like put a t-shirt on or open a door. My toilet paper roll is vertical, not horizontal, because I can't turn my hand so I have a vertical on a candlestick. And I was mad about that. I was mad that my body couldn't do it the way I'd always done it. I was pissed off when I had to hold on to something to put my shorts and stuff on. I was really mad when it was hard to reach my feet to put my socks on. Really pissed, right? Really mad. And I was disparaging to myself. And what changed that was, so I didn't do
Mad at
well
what? Mad at yourself?
body,
mad
myself,
at
world,
the time training?
my luck. No. I'm glad you mentioned that. No, never, ever had any regrets about training.
Yeah.
None. I would have had this arthritis whether I did that or was a bowler or checkers player.
So just mad at the world then.
Mad at my situation. Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Right. And boo-hoo.
Yes.
Right. But I tried not to be that way. But internally, personally, maybe even subconsciously, I kept it down there. I didn't let anybody know I was boo-hooing myself. But I kind of was, right? I was like, this sucks. What changed it was, so I'm a big believer in curiosity and creativity. The 2 things that I think matter. Curiosity and creativity. And once I started to focus these situations on how am I going to cope with not being able to do that? What system can I invent that makes my life easier? What system can I set up that makes me able to reach the things that I'm going to need? What system am I gonna, how am I gonna walk up and down stairs now? How am I gonna get into my car? Here's how I get in my car. I turn sideways. I turn my back to the car. I open the car door, and I turn sideways, and I sit down, and then I put my legs in. And that's a system that I have now. And I have all these systems set up all over my home to do all the ordinary things that nobody else has to think about.
Mm-hmm.
They can do it one of several ways. I had to find any good way that I could do it. So once I started seeing it as, okay, what this is now, this is a challenge to my creativity. That's what this is. This is me getting an opportunity to be more creative in my life. I've done it all this way for this long, but now I got to do it a different way. What way am I going to do it? I get to create that. What's the best way I can come up with? Can I think of a better way? And when I have a good way, I'm always excited when, as I'm doing it, I'm like, I could do it this way, but then I could also add this. And I'm like, oh, that's even better. That's even more creative way to do it. And easier for me on my joints and body and lifestyle. And I'm always excited about those things now. So the limitations are disappointing because I don't think a guy my age should be this incapacitated. But that's my cross to bear. That's my arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
So, none of it came about from lifting. I don't have any hips that are mine or knees, but I didn't squat heavy. Mm-hmm. I still got my elbows and shoulders. Right? So if anything, the lifting has protected some of my joints. They're still functioning. But arthritis is arthritis, and that's my thing. And so now I have a challenge all the time because I'm able to do less every day. And I have to come up with a creative way to do stuff that I haven't had to yet. I was still able to kind of hold on to doing it the old way I did it. And now it's just, so by turning it around into a challenge that is a problem that can be solved with creativity, I become curious to see what I can do and how I will solve that problem. And when you're curious, you want to see how it's going to end. How will I solve this problem with my creativity? And the curiosity takes away a lot of the sting. Because now I just want to see how I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. How am I going to figure this out? What's a better way I can do this? Is there a better way? Is there a better way I can organize my dog food and dog supplies so that I don't have to bend over so much? Yeah, there is. There is. How am I going to do that?
So it's not a matter if, it's how.
How?
So that's what's
solving
changed, right? At first, you're angry, you're mad, you're pissed. Now going through the same things, right? Because, but then it's like, okay, it's the reality.
It is.
So what are you going to do? You can't avoid the reality. Well, I guess you can. There are ways.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to block it out and tried to force myself to do it the hard way, the old way. And then it changed. And now it's kind of fun to think, what's the next thing? My dad used to wake up and say, he said, I would wake up, John Mark, and I'd be like, I wonder what's going to go wrong today. Like what part of his body isn't going to work? Mm-hmm. And I was like, he kind of said it in jest, but it's true. I'm going to lose something this month, or a little more of something that I have begun to lose. And then next month, it'll be something else. And the challenge is to find a coping mechanism, find a way to do it. The curiosity is to say, how am I going to do this? The creativity is to create the way. And that's a pretty good life, being creative, curious, and challenged. But I'm glad that I came up with these answers. And every time I use one of my systems, I'm like, I came up with that. And it doesn't sting as much. I wish I could do it like a normal person my age and not a guy that's 20 years older than me. And
how much different is this than actually trying to figure out how to maneuver your bench press for 20 years?
Curiosity, creativity.
Same thing.
Same thing.
So all you had to do was be reminded of what you already knew.
Yeah. And to apply it and to stop being mad.
Yeah, to recognize
and disappointed and feeling betrayed, and I had to let that go. And it comes back quite a bit. Like, damn it, Why can't I just do this? Why everybody else does it? You know, mowing my grass, changing the oil in my mower, doing things that other people do. Here's something I can't do. You know how on your stove at the bottom there's that warming tray under there? I just found out, my buddy Steve just told me that that's a warming tray. I said, you know that thing on the bottom of your stove where you keep all your pots and pans? He goes, yeah, that's to keep stuff warm. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. I didn't know that. But I keep my pots and pans down there. And I can't, because of the way that my shoulders and body, I can't reach down and get my hands under to pull the thing open. Because you got to get under, lift up, and pull open. I can't do that with either hand. So you know what I keep in there? Nothing. Nothing. I hope people don't hear this and think, that guy, he lifted too much weight. He should have stopped early.
Oh, they will, but who cares?
I
Because
know,
that's
they
not,
will, but that's not why this happened.
Yeah. Well, that's not the point of the story either.
No, it's not. The
You
point
know,
of the
the
story
point of
is
the story is to
creativity.
figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all thrust at different situations through our life in all different directions from all different areas
That's the point of the story.
that need, you know, the same mechanisms. You know, that's your mechanisms.
Coping.
You know,
Find a way to
the
cope.
way to figure out.
Yeah.
The takeaway is it's the same mechanisms.
Yes.
You know,
I think
but
so.
those mechanisms, as you said earlier, can get clouded in the noise and the frustrations. You know, the stress of your anger.
Yeah.
You can't see the opportunity. You can't see the solutions. You can't see the creativity if your mind is distracted,
Yeah. That's right.
noisy.
You're not
you know,
listening.
so
You're not
forth.
dealing with. But this is going back. I want to take this back to what I said about the kind of person I had to become.
Yes.
So that is the person that I am, a guy that can solve a few things, can sit with the problem and be creative, and wants to be curious about how he's going to solve it. And that all came from who I had to become to solve those other problems. And now I can put that in play in this problem.
Is that what keeps you in the strength game now?
No,
Because you see that training can be a catalyst?
no.
What keeps you in the game?
But that's all true, though.
Yes.
Right? That is absolutely true. So I learned a lot about how to become the operational person that I am in a gym. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about life. I really did. And so that's just my ticket in with people. So my ticket in is I can use the gym to teach you about this other thing about yourself. Because that's where I learned it. It could have been learned other way. You said, could it be learned other places before? And I agreed with you, and it can. But my experience of how I learned it was in the gym. And so I teach people from the gym out. And my hope is that, really my hope is that the things we do in the gym aren't just for the gym. They travel outside. They bleed out into your life.